as you are well aware, Sha'Carri Richardson will not compete after testing positive for cannabis. She tested positive for marijuana. She's not the first world-class Olympic athlete to do so. She's young, and according to her, she made a mistake. After the champion, because she's still the champion to me, Sha'Carri Richardson tested positive. She had her medals and her wins stripped away from her, so now she will not place for the 100-meter race, even though she's the champ, okay? She won the 100-meter Olympic trials at 10.86 seconds on June 19th, and her ban has been in discussion. Richardson, who won the 100 Olympic trials in 10.86 seconds on June 19th, spoke of her ban Friday on the Today Show. She tested positive at the Olympic trials, and her result is erased. Fourth place finisher Jenna Prandini is expected to get Richardson's spot in the 100. Okay, that's a big blow. I'm gonna add perspective on this show about all of this. The 21-year-old sprinter was expected to face Jamaica's Shelley Ann Fraser-Price in one of the most highly anticipated races of the Olympic track and meet. Why did this happen? Why did she smoke marijuana? Well, according to Ms. Richardson, it was because of the death of her biological mother. She was coping with that, and she did something that was unwise. I'm not calling it bad. Bad means morally reprehensible. There's nothing morally reprehensible about what she did at all. I know it's disappointing to many. And did you see her grandmother when she hugged her grandmother after that victory? Believe me, grandmama talking to her. So I'm not utilizing this platform to shame our dear sister who's young and already feels like the world is judging her. On Thursday, as reports swirled about her possible marijuana use, Richardson put out a tweet that said simply, "I am human." On Friday, she went on TV and said she smoked marijuana as a way of coping with her mother's death. Can I remind you that the Olympic trials are held in Eugene, Oregon? And in Eugene, Oregon, in Oregon period, recreational use marijuana is completely 100% legal. See, this is a very teachable moment. This is a very teachable moment to highlight these dumbass marijuana laws. That's what this moment can teach us. It is not an enhancer. It does not give you a tactical, strategic, or strength advantage. These athletes are allowed to drink alcohol, but it goes back to why are we so anti-marijuana? Now, I don't smoke marijuana personally. I just don't have a beef with people who do. And it was done in a state where the use of it was absolutely 100% legal. Now, all is not lost because she does get an opportunity perhaps to run in the relay race, because even the suspension is a minor suspension. It just happens to be during the same time that this race would have been held. It is a 30-day suspension for marijuana use. Once again, she didn't go to a foreign country and break stuff like some other Olympic athletes have done. She has not lied to the national public about anything. She was coping with the death of her mother. Here's some of that interview.
Right now, I'm just putting all of my time and energy into dealing with what I need to deal with to heal myself. So if I'm allowed to receive that blessing, then I'm grateful for it. But if not right now, I'm gonna just focus on myself.
You know, what would your message be to those who are considering that right now, who are thinking about that, and to your fans, you know, who have fallen in love with you and were so proud of your performance and maybe crushed just as you are in that moment? What would you want to say to them?
I would like to say to my fans and my family, my sponsorship, to the haters too. I apologize as much as I'm disappointed. I know that when I submit a track, I don't represent myself. I represent a community that has shown me great support, great love. And to y'all, I failed y'all. And so I apologize for the fact that I didn't know how to control my emotions or deal with my emotions during that time. And when I would just leave with my fans, or I would just leave out there, is that, like I tweeted and said yesterday, I'm human. We're human.
That's right. She's human. We're human. She's young. And obviously, this is disappointing for her. But I don't want her to think that what she did is evil or bad. What she did was unwise, maybe, given what she wanted to do with her athletic career. But let's be very clear. What she did not try to enhance her physical capabilities. She wasn't doping. She wasn't using steroids. And she put it in good context here. Here's the next video.
Do you plan to keep running? Are you going to keep those Olympic dreams alive no matter what?
Yes, this is just one game. I'm 21. I'm very young. Unlike most, I have plenty of games left in me to compete in, and I have plenty of talent that backs me up. Because everything I do comes from me naturally. No steroid, no anything. This incident was about marijuana. So after my sanction is up, I'll be back and able to compete. And every single time I step on the track, I'll be ready for whatever anti-doping agency to come and get what it is that they need.
Sounds like she's resolved, learned a lesson, and put it in proper context. She's young, she's talented, she has a lot more to go. But let's not act as if people aren't celebrating this, because before any of this happened, they called her ghetto. They talked about her hair, they talked about her eyebrows, they talked about her vernacular. So keep on keeping on, sister. We got your back over here. To talk more about this and some other things, I have Jackson White. Jackson White, co-founder and editor-in-chief of Politiscope and a Rebel HQ contributor. Thank you for being on the program. How are you?
Great to be here. I'm all right, man. I'm doing as good as I can, like everybody else.
Amen to that, brother.
Appreciate you having me today.
Glad to have you on Indisputable. I want you to give us some insight to this situation, in your opinion.
So I think it's important to highlight one of the things that you actually pointed out, which was that in the state of Oregon, it's completely legal. Actually, there's only 5 states where it's completely illegal, which is Idaho, Wyoming, Kansas, Tennessee, and South Carolina. According to some of the latest Pew Research data, only 8% of American adults want it completely illegal. There's a net 91% of Americans that want it legalized, mixed between recreational and medicinal purposes. And yet and still, we're seeing cultural implications to where a woman who's perhaps the most deserving of competition can't compete. She's not able to be in the games where she likely would have either won or come very close to winning. She's 21 years old, and luckily she's strong, as we can see from her resolve, as you pointed out. And she has plenty of fight left in her and more chances. But again, this is a great example of how, even though the cultural tides have turned on this issue, even though in most of the states, the issue has turned, we're still seeing organizations, have such power that they can rob people of opportunities that are this big for no real reason. So it's really.
And man, you said something powerful at the end there, and I want to make sure people caught it. No real reason. Let me highlight that for a minute. You are talking about world-class athletes, right? World-class athletes to compete based on their mental and physical capabilities. A lot of these games require strategy, they require strength, but all of them require commitment. She has proven all of those elements, given her track record, leading her to this moment in life. Now you're telling me that something that has absolutely nothing to do with enhancing your performance artificially, something that is actually completely legal in the state that she was in, something that is now, by way of public sentiment, acceptable as a cultural normality in the United States of America and beyond, she is now unable to compete. Given her track record and what she has earned, she's no longer able to compete. I say the same thing, brother. No good reason.
No good reason. And I think that this also highlights the power of the law, how slow it can change, and why it is therefore very important to be active, especially within your community, because that's where the most change occurs, and that's where the most inspiration and motivation comes from. That's, she comes from the area where these types of issues affect people the most. People who are in positions, who are in much higher places, as we all know, people, without getting all into that, substances are part of the human experience. Everyone has a vice of some sort, whether it's marijuana, whether it's alcohol, as you pointed out. It could be things that are less healthy. It could be things that are more healthy. But as we all know, being adults is not easy, and we all need something to cope, and it's just a regular part of life. And to pretend like she's supposed to just deal with the death of someone who's close to her and perform at such a high level, completely, within her own right and within her own self, would be treating her like she's not a human being.
There's a massive irony here. So literally, the movement to legalize marijuana, in large part, was based on the fact that marijuana laws, the enforcement of marijuana laws, actually impacted Black people in a way that created a disparity. You had over prosecution of these no violent or non-violent marijuana offenses, right? And so the movement was to make sure that, in particular, Black folk and brown folk were not unfairly criminalized because of minor marijuana usage. So we have the movement, we're somewhat successful in the movement, and then a dear sister like Sha'Carri Richardson, she fights hard, works hard, commits herself. She makes it out of that particular situation to a world-class stage, and the same law, the same policy that didn't get her in her neighborhood got her on the national stage, the international stage. What irony.